All movie start.
Okay. First of all, thank you so much. Could you please introduce yourself with the name, where are you from, what do you do?
My name is Lara Aharonian. I'm from Yerevan, Armenia. I'm the co-founder of the Women's Fund Armenia. And we mainly, it's a national fund that supports feminist movements and initiatives, organizations based in Armenia, and more specifically in the regions and rural areas, border areas of Armenia, where funding is a little bit difficult to access.
Okay, good. Because we heard you're one of the feminist superstars in Armenia. Could you tell me more about the entire process of movement building and how did it go? How is it now? And then we will later go to the contemporary issues.
Yeah. Feminist movement in Armenia, more the contemporary movement, started with the fight against violence against women and gender-based violence. We were very much shocked as feminist activists about the amount of violence that was happening in our society, and specifically about femicide and domestic violence. And we gathered together and started thinking what we can do to counter that, because it was systematic, it was organized, and there were a lot of obstacles on our way. Also living in very traditional and conservative society where we don't talk about certain issues, it was quite difficult to just talk about this. So that's how slowly it started to build up, and we started with a few people, few activists coming together and thinking about what to do to stop this specific issue. And then more people joined us. The more vocal we were, we started on the streets, informing people, going to courthouses to support women who are going through court hearing because of domestic violence. And gradually it expanded from the capital also to the regions and the villages, and then doing marches in the regions to see also what was the situation of rural women in general, because we were so disconnected. So the movement built up around that, and it expanded after. So from domestic violence, or violence against women, then we started tackling sexual rights, reproductive health issues, and harassment at the workplace. So it was the same group going, expanding, and taking, different directions in a way.
Okay, and I kind of think that parallel with feminist movement building is development of anti-gender movement. So can you just tell me more about, did it affect you in the beginning, or like what are the differences between the attacks, if there are any, throughout the years?
Well, doing this, being an activist and talking about these sensitive issues, violence, peace building, right to your own body, were already huge issues that attracted a lot of opponents. But in 2013 specifically, the attack started to be more harsher. And personally, I got attacked a lot. I received a lot of threats, death threats, rape threats, and also threats that people will come and blow up our organization, cut our throats. And in 2013, we thought it was just like a few incidents like this, and there was suddenly organizations like Pan-Armenian National Parents Association, and we didn't at the beginning understand that it was really organized and well funded and well strategized, until we started talking to our partners in Ukraine, Moldova, Georgia, and we started seeing that it's the same trend a little bit everywhere, and it really we were not prepared for that. We were thinking that, okay, we will face attacks, but we were not prepared to have this much organized and well-funded and well-taught movement attacking us. And that took some time for us to realize, what we are dealing with and how big it is. And it's not just in our small country, but it was the region. And then we realized it was not the region, it was also globally, different regions going through this. And of course, to that it add the conflict and the war, and then COVID happened, and it made it even more difficult. But over the years, we started also mobilizing among ourselves, because we started realizing that, we need to act and do activism very differently if we want to survive in this new reality. And that's how we started organizing among activists to find new strategies to counter that. We built more resilience over the years. If I think now, 10 years before I was like more vulnerable. Now I feel a little bit more confident, even though I know more about the threats. But at least I know that first I'm not alone. And we are also trying to organize ourselves to counter this. I'm not doing it by myself, because these movements, anti-gender movements, tend to isolate you as well as an activist, because you become more vulnerable in that way. So I think coming to meetings like this, for example, where you see women very far away, feminist activists in a different context facing similar threats, and you learn from their experiences, you share your own experiences, and you can see we need to be as organized as the anti-gender movement that is happening, and try to find other ways to continue, because we cannot stop, you know. So we need to find a new resilient way, collective ways maybe to counter this and continue doing what we need to do.
Okay, thank you. I just have one more short question. What brings you joy and excitement in your work?
I think just being among other people who understand me, who get me, because in this activist work, in the feminist work, in this patriarchal reality, you get to pressured a lot, and sometimes it affects a lot your mental health. So when you are among others who are going through the same thing, just, you know, listening others and sharing stuff and laughing together, you know, that brings me a lot of joy to see that I'm not alone in this.
Okay, thank you so much.